what in the hell, what if I start this kind of like joke page of like Carnivore Yogi just as a joke?
Oh.
So it started that way, just as a joke of like, this is kind of funny. I'm just going to document my journey and put my meals up and talk about how I'm feeling and my healing journey, and maybe follow other people kind of doing the same thing. And now here I am, 2.5, almost 3 years later, with, 37,000 followers and
Mhm.
YouTube and a podcast, and I run coaching groups, and it's bizarre. Like,
Mm.
thought yoga people were weird and spiritual people were weird, and like getting in touch with your feelings was stupid. And just, I was a
Mm.
pretty like, I know I had a lot of trauma, a
Yeah.
lot of things in my life growing up. I know that now, that kind of made me in this perpetual shutdown mode. And when my daughter was diagnosed with autism, she had a big regression,
Mm.
lost all of her speech and language. And if I didn't have the videos of it, I don't think I would believe it at this point. It's
Huh.
been so many years, but I have videos of her first year of life. I took videos of everything, of just completely typical development, talking and eye contact and joint attention and all the things you see in babies. And then just like, 12, 13 months, just boom, lights went out, everything was gone, speech and language gone. She could say words more clearly at 10, 11 months than she can now at age 13. And so
Wow.
that was like, wait a second, that stopped everything, stopped my corporate career. I
Mm.
left to be home with her because we couldn't really trust anyone with her.
No.
And we had to take her to all these therapies. It was like, she needs all these therapies. And
Yeah.
so that my whole life shifted. And that sent me down this kind of big healing journey for
Feeling.
her. And then it was like, I'm going to fall apart and have a nervous breakdown if I don't take care of me. And that's when I found yoga. And that's when I got into yoga.
We're going to talk about animal protein and your switch to carnivore. And by no means does that mean that we're saying or you're saying that this is for everyone.
Absolutely not.
And we know,
Absolutely
and
not.
I know that, and you know that. So we're just putting that in like red lights here.
Yes. Oh,
You,
yeah.
yeah, let's
When
hear
I,
yours.
well, when I was becoming a teacher and in training, I was vegetarian for a while. And then I had 2 years as a very strict vegan. First vegetarian, then 2 years straight strict vegan. And I was doing some really advanced pranayama training, which those are kind of like out of body experiences, honestly.
Can you
And
explain what that is for those that might not know what that
yeah,
is?
pranayama is like advanced breathing essentially, and it's meant to cleanse the body and really cleanse the body and cleanse the mind and bring you to different states of consciousness. And so this was a 5-day intensive training, and I was a disaster. And this was like, had been vegan 2 years straight. I was a disaster. My body was in so much pain.
Huh.
And my teacher took me aside, and he's Kripalu trained. He's been, teaching for over 20 years. And he was like, Sarah, I see what you're trying to do. I see you're trying to do ahimsa, but this is not working out for you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you are very thin and very
Mm.
frail. You're losing hair. You've been freezing cold this whole training. You do not look good. You are always telling me you're injured. And I was always injured. I could never heal from injuries. I was always injured. And he's like, this is not, you need to eat animal foods. He's like, ahimsa also means nonviolence towards yourself. And if you
Oh,
are sick because you are trying to do this thing, then you're not going to be able to be of service to anyone. You're not going to be able to be of service to your friends, your family, to your community as a yoga teacher. This is not going to work. And so I want to just have this conversation with you, that I know you're trying to do the right thing, but some people do just need animal protein, and it's okay. It's okay. And I was like, oh, I was relieved, and I didn't even know I would be relieved, but I
oh,
was just relieved when he had that conversation with me. And it took me a while. I started eating egg whites. I wouldn't even eat meat. I was like, well, I can try egg whites. I wouldn't even eat the yolks. And then eventually we were at the beach like a month later, and I was like, get me a chicken burrito.
the
And I
chicken
was like,
burrito put you in there.
yeah, but by the end of my vegan, I was on 5 different medications for depression. I was on benzos. I was on, yeah, it was SSRIs, benzos, sleeping medication. Another one to help the SSRI work better. I was a disaster. I mean, I was on all these medications and I was still a mess. I had cavities for the first time in my life. My sleep was bad and I was very, very thin. I mean, I did not look good at all.
Mm.
So yeah,
Crazy.
it's crazy. And, not everyone's going to have that experience. Some people do really well eating a vegan or plant-based diet and it works really well for them, but perhaps it's, my blood type, perhaps it's, I am an O negative
Mhm.
and perhaps it's my genetics or, something, but I just am much better with animal protein, much better.
So someone might be wondering, and I know that this question I've heard Michaela Peterson has addressed it, but is there any deficiencies that occur when you're not, because we were taught eat
Yeah.
the rainbow or the Mediterranean, and you have folks all around the world who are perfectly healthy eating all the colors.
Yeah.
But how does the system manufacture the vitamins and minerals that it might need? I know this is a big question, but
Yeah.
how does that work when one is primarily eating animal protein and fat?
Yeah. One thing I didn't realize before I started doing this way of eating is how many vitamins and nutrients are actually in meat and in those egg yolks and in organ meats, your liver and your thymus and kidney and all of those things. And I do wild seafood too. I do salmon roe, like I'm sure you've
Yeah,
seen my little spoonfuls of
yeah,
the fish eggs. I eat
yeah.
those. And so um, I've done a ton of blood testing on my YouTube channel. I've kind of shared my blood tests over the last couple of years. I've done gut testing. I've done hair tissue mineral analysis where they've analyzed my minerals. I've done all kinds of stuff and I've shared it with people because, like I said, I'm sharing my journey.
Yeah.
And I don't have any nutritional deficiencies from eating this way. My doctor was actually pretty shocked when she was going over my labs and I told her what I'd been eating. And she's like, "What?"
What?
Yeah, I didn't have any deficiencies at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, everything has been totally fine. And so
Yeah.
can someone eat this way indefinitely? I know people who've done it for 10 plus years. I'm friends with some people who've done it for 10, 12, and
Wow.
more years, and they've tested everything and they're great. Um, I don't know. I can't give a definite yes or
No.
no for anybody, but I know for me, I haven't been lacking or missing out on anything by eating this way. And it's mostly just eggs, egg yolks. I do
Yeah.
my wild seafood. I do grass fed. I am careful where I source. I try to source only from regenerative agriculture and support
Mhm.
those farms that have those practices because I do believe that's important,
Me too. Yeah.
very important. And so I try to do grass fed beef, bison, elk, game meats, and yeah, it's not too hard.
Hey everyone, Irene Lyon here. Thank you for watching this short video. If you want to watch the full length video, just click somewhere near here and be sure to subscribe to this channel, as well as my full length channel, Irene Lyon. Keep learning, keep healing. We'll see you next time.